In the future, robot girlfriends will be available to those of us who can't get any action. Just kidding, keep dreaming. But in the world of Metallic Rouge, that's not so out of reach. Set in the far future where humans have reached beyond the planet Earth and have colonized Mars, the story of this OVA by Studio Bones follows the work of Rouge Red Star and Naomi Orthman as they track down the Immortal Nine, a group of rogue androids hostile towards humans. The first thing I have to observe is that the story is pretty heavy-handed about the idea of the android people, Neons as they're called, being second-class citizens. And since that seems to be an integral part of the story, I feel like that might just get too annoying. Well, I don't have any objections to a story covering this sort of topic. It feels like it just doesn't have the tact to handle it, especially with how quickly it gets into the deep end of the Neon world. It isn't even 3 episodes before you're introduced to one of the big free Neon organizations and its leaders. So yeah, it feels a bit rushed in that aspect. In terms of characters, I actually like both the main characters, Rouge and Naomi. Rouge is a Neon herself, but looks and acts so close to human that nobody can ever really tell. Still, she has a very childish personality. She's a bit simple at times, single-minded, and can behave like a brat. And when it comes to her chocolate, don't test your luck. Still, it's kinda endearing how she acts like a little girl sometimes and gets distracted by simple things just like a child would. Plus, she actually does have some good redeeming moments for all the times she sort of does her own thing. I won't say she's the most compelling character ever created, but she's at least playing her part in the story well, and you can invest a bit of emotion in her. As for Naomi, she's interesting for a different reason. She's mischievous, but the more mature and focused of them. Her mission in guiding Rouge to the Immortal Nine is a bit tough at times since the other half of the duo can be a bit of a pain. But she's got her own charms, and I like her role so far as the intel gatherer and spy. Both Naomi and Rouge have their own unique abilities too. While Naomi's are more geared towards her spying, with the ability to operate an android-like bird like a drone, Rouge's are a little bit more flashy. She has a battle form. Being a special kind of Neon, she has the ability to transform into a more powerful form, equipped with higher durability and special weaponry. The Immortal Nine can do the exact same thing, and have the same characteristic of being almost indistinguishable from humans. So it's likely they and Rouge have some similar origins. That aside, the story so far has been a bit less than what I had expected. The core of it is the hunt for the Immortal Nine, but there hasn't even been any reason given for why the Immortal Nine are being targeted, outside the fact that they're hostile towards humans. The major theme of Neons being second-class citizens is deployed too awkwardly and, in my opinion, a little bit too soon, and it hits you like a hammer. This is one of those situations where you probably should have slow-rolled into that arc. Really, the most interesting part of the show thus far has been the hunt for the Immortal Nine. And with episode 3 delving straight into the Neon-human conflicts, it feels like it's getting distracted way too quickly for any of it to really stick well. And then they have this whole backstory to the world about humanity going to war with hostile alien invaders and the Neons being allies to the humans, but they never really explain enough about it for it to really feel like an important part of the world. But it's still early in the series and it's hard to tell what's going to happen with the story since we're only about 3 episodes in. Designs on vehicles, environments, robotics, and cities are pretty well done though. And animation is at least good enough to make the fights fun to watch. They've got a bit of flair to them that show there was some level of effort put into making them a good part of the draw for this series. And what 3D CGI it does use looks alright, so I have no complaints. Movement animation is done to a point where it at least has the feel of a real action sequence. And that's not really a surprise, considering this is Studio Bones we're talking about. All in all, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I definitely think it's worth watching, or giving a shot at the very least, but it's not the most amazing anime out there. I think it will likely fly under a lot of people's radar since it doesn't have the most exquisite draw power, especially considering it's premiering at the same time as Solo Leveling. But that's all I have to say. So if you liked this video, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons because those simple but free actions do really help me. And if you have thoughts to share, leave them in the comments. I hope you join me for the next one. Later.